Dore Copper is a brownfield copper and gold company with assets in Quebec. They're driving towards developing 5 high-grade deposits with a single mill. It's a hub and spoke business plan. I think it's going to be very interesting. Ernest, welcome to the Global Mining Symposium. How are you feeling today? Ernest, you have your mute on. The sentence that's been spoken the most through the pandemic. How are you, Ernest?
I'm good. Thanks for that reminder. Yes, thanks for having me at your symposium.
Fantastic. Now, Ernest, let me do a little bit of an intro for you so our great audience here can understand where you're coming from. You're the president and CEO. Now, you joined the company as a founder back in 2017. You have over 30 years of experience in various technical and executive roles in the mining industry and across a wide range of commodities, geographies, and development stages. You started your career at Noranda and subsequent companies, Falcon Bridge and Xstrata, of course. And you were the president and GM of Falcon Bridge Dominicana, which is an integrated 28,000 ton per year nickel producer in the Dominican Republic. So a lot of great expertise. And now you're bringing it closer to home in Quebec. So very curious to learn more, Ernest. I'll pass it over to you and take us through your story.
Okay, great. Well, good to hear your comments about copper. We're obviously very bullish about it. I'm going to go through a presentation here and talk about the highlights of the company. So looking forward to having everyone along and learning about the Dore copper story. Our projects are situated in Chibougamau, Quebec. This is approximately 500 kilometers or 300 miles north of Montreal. This is a very well-established mining camp. 1.6 billion pounds of copper and 4.4 million ounces of gold were extracted from our mines. And as you mentioned, we're looking to implement a hub and spoke operation. We have 13 deposits, actually. 8 of them are listed here, and we're going to start looking at 3, expand that, then looking at 5. And then as some mines come off, new mines can come in. This is a very prolific camp as well. So we've been very busy with consolidation, and we continue to do so. So really, we're the main player in the Chibougamau camp. We have 12,100 hectares. And one of the peculiarities of the camp was that not a lot of exploration has been done since we came in 2017. So we're actually having a lot of success with exploration and growing out the resources. And currently, we're doing a 26,500 meter program this year. Some of the investment highlights of the company is that our assets are brownfield, and of course, we're located in Quebec. I can't emphasize enough how Quebec is such a great mining jurisdiction. There's really good stability in the laws related to mining, and then there's a lot of financing opportunities available to companies. The projects and the deposits we have are copper and gold. These are 2 of the best commodities you can be in, and also the deposits have expansion and exploration potential. So we're going to see the deposits grow. We've put together an experienced team, very good board of directors. We all have experience in mining, underground, copper, gold, a lot of experience in Quebec as well. And we have infrastructure in place. This was a past producing camp. So we have a mill, we have a tailings facility. Our mines already have access to the underground deposits. So that means when it comes time to permitting, and the capital cost for restart, they should be very favorable compared to any greenfield project. Little history of the company on the left-hand side here. So you can see we formed the company in 2017. We acquired the assets from a trading group called Ocean Partners, who essentially gave us the assets in exchange for equity into our company. In 2018, we did some drilling as a private company, established the fact that there is a lot of exploration potential in the camp. We then listed on the TSXV at the end of 2019, and since then we've actually listed on the OTCQX as well. During 2020, we made a key acquisition.
Oh, Laura, we have Ernest is frozen there.
Yes, Ernest, I don't know if you can hear us, but
it might be.
There we go. Are you back there now, Ernest?
Okay, so what I will do, I'll stop my video for bandwidth.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay, if you can hear me.
We
Yep,
can,
you're good
Ernest.
to
You're
go.
good. Coming through loud and
Okay,
clear.
so what we plan on doing this year is 26,500 meters of drilling, mineral resource updates, and a PEA later this year. Currently, as we stand, the market cap of the company, stock price has gone up a little bit since this, but market cap of the company is $60 million, 53.5 million shares outstanding, $12 million in treasury, and no debt. Stock is held quite tightly with the major shareholders still being Ocean Partners, but we have other institutions involved in the stock, and the stock trades 100 to 200,000 shares a day. We talked about copper, and really one of the drivers of the price now is a 5 million ton deficit, which is projected at the end of the decade. And this is from a combination of factors. First of all, demand remains constant, growing at about 2% per year. However, supply is having a hard time catching up. As we used to say, the world needed an Antamina every year in order to keep up with production. Well, now the world needs an Escondida every year to keep up with production. And we just know that's not happening. So something has to give. Price has gone up. That may temper demand a little bit, and hopefully it's going to incentivize new producers like ourselves. Our secondary commodity is gold, and gold is very strongly situated with all that's happened with the pandemic and the amount of money which is being printed in the low interest rate environment we see going into the future. So I'll talk about some of our mines now. Our main deposit is called the Corner Bay deposit. Corner Bay was about 90% built by a previous operator. On the lower left-hand side, you can see the surface work that was done. A ramp was put in, 2 kilometers of development. A 40,000 ton bulk sample was taken and processed in the mill. And it currently has a resource of 3 million tons at 3.47% copper and 0.28 grams per ton gold. We've been drilling the deposit in 2020 and in 2021. In the long section, or the isometric view, you can see in blue the anticipated expansion of the deposit from the 2020 drilling, and then the green and the blue dots represent intercepts from our work in 2021. We recently announced some drill intercepts, and the most important one is hole 32, which was 5.5 meters at 3.5% copper and a 1/4 gram gold. Essentially, we've extended out the deposit 380 meters along strike from the 2019 resource estimate. And geologically speaking, the deposit is wide open for at least another kilometer. So we continue to drill this deposit, but in Q3, we'll come up with a new mineral resource estimate. And we're anticipating that estimate to be over 5 million tons, and we will stay over 3% copper. And one of the things we'd like to point out is that you can count the number of deposits with 5 million tons copper and 3%, 5 million tons of ore and 3% copper on one hand. And this deposit's going to continue to grow. So we have something really special here, and it's going to be the main asset for the hub and spoke. We also have some complementary assets, principal being the Mann deposit. This was a past producing mine, produced 1.2 million ounces at 8.26 grams per ton gold and a 1/4% copper. It stopped operating in 2007. Here we see a long section of the deposit, and we did some drilling during 2020. We extended the deposit down dip on the west zone with an intercept of 4 meters at 10.3 grams gold and 0.37% copper. We also had an infill hole of 1.3 meters at 6.3 grams gold and 0.5% copper, which connected some of the past workings to two intercepts that were about 1 ounce per ton with nearly 1% copper as well. So if you consider that 1.2 million ounces were mined from the upper part of the mine, for the next 300 meters, it's actually quite logical to think that 400,000 ounces of gold will exist there along with some copper. So it becomes a really nice complement to the high-grade copper asset, Corner Bay. We have Mann in operation, and it's adding maybe another 30,000 ounces a year to our production. This mine actually was treated in our mill in the past, so we know it's compatible with the mill process that we have in place. Another deposit which we have is the Cedar Bay deposit, in some ways similar to Mann in that this was a past producing mine, produced 3.9 million tons at 1.63% copper and 3.2 grams gold. It's located very close to the mill. We did drilling in 2018 and 2020. 3 lenses have been identified. The total resource is 360,000 tons, and it's very high grade, 8.7 grams gold and 1.92% copper. The drilling we did in 2020 showed that the lenses are open at depth. And so what we're looking to do at this mine and also at the Mann mine is to dewater the mines and then commence drilling from underground in order to fully delineate the resources, at which point we could put the mine back into operation. Some of the intercepts that we had last year were very high grade, 1.5 meters at 14.2% copper, and then 3.4 meters at 6.9% copper and 3.1 grams gold. These were on the central vein. We also colored some holes near the adjacent Copper Cliff mine, and those had some very good intercepts of 13.6 grams gold and 7.3% copper, very close to surface, part of the crown pillar of the Copper Cliff mine, which extended about 90 meters depth. And then a few hundred meters down hole, there was also an area called Zone 21, which was an intercept of 2.25 meters at 4.9% copper and 0.5 gram gold. We will follow up on those intercepts over the course of this year, and that should create some interesting news flow. And another deposit which we have is the
Roger, I think we've lost you again quickly.
Ernest, we've temporarily lost connection with you there. We're still seeing your presentation. We're just not hearing you.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. You're back.
Got you now.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. So, we definitely need more copper in our internet connections. We're using one of the major service providers, and obviously sometimes it's lacking, although I live in Toronto, so go figure. The Devlin deposit is a flat-lying deposit. It has 760,000 tons of resources at 2.4% copper. It's about 100 meters deep, and it's very close to the Corner Bay deposit. So this is a great deposit to come into operation, taking advantage of the current high-priced copper environment. This image shows the location of the mill, located 14 kilometers or less than 10 miles from the town of Chibougamau. Chibougamau being a town of 7,500 people, and it was built as a mining town. Our mill is located here at the site, and the tailings facility is about 1.5 kilometers away. The mill last operated in 2008. It was closed in an orderly fashion. However, when we go and refurbish the mill, we're going to upgrade, say, the control system, change some of the equipment, but that should be a fraction of the cost compared to installing a new facility. We've had active engagement with the community of Chibougamau, but as well as all of our stakeholders, including the First Nations group of Ojibougamau. They're very experienced with dealing with natural resources. We have strong relationships with the Quebec government, and a number of Quebec government associated funds are investors in the company. And Quebec has other mechanisms for promoting projects, helping out with infrastructure, such as Plan Nord and the James Bay Development Society. So all of these elements come together, showing that the company is very well supported in its restart plans. For 2021, we're fully funded to do our PEA in the fourth quarter. We're doing 26,500 meters of drilling, which is underway. We continue to evaluate opportunities in the camp. We'll update mineral resources in Q2 and Q3 and do the PEA. By doing the PEA, we're going to get into more detail regarding the mine and mill rehabilitation. And in 2022, we intend to start the feasibility studies and continue to do more detailed work in terms of getting the mines restarted, including getting into the permitting process. So in summary, the company has consolidated a large brownfield land package in the prolific Lac Dore Chibougamau mining camp. We have established mining infrastructure. We have many deposits. We have tailings facility. The deposits themselves have underground access. This makes for a really excellent opportunity. The current market cap is about $60 million. The replacement value of the assets is in excess of $200 million. So with the PEA, we're establishing how to feed the deposits over the life of mine, establish that project pipeline to the mill. We should be able to redevelop at low capital costs, and we've got strong financial partnerships in place, including the Quebec government. So it all puts together very nice for a really good copper restart story in Canada.
Excellent stuff, Ernest. Now we have gone a little bit over time, but I do want to get a couple questions here because this is a really good story and really on point with copper and in a great jurisdiction like Quebec and redeveloping some assets that are known. In terms of, so you mentioned PEA at the end of this year, and then looking to get some of these mines back into production 2022. But do you have a firmer sense of your timeline to production? When can investors kind of think about seeing production?
Yeah, I think if we really accelerate, it should be a little over 2 years. So say 2 to 3 years would be a possible timeline for us to get into production. Remember, the asset's already built, so it's really just ensuring we permit or re-permit the existing assets, and then a smaller amount of time for the development and fixing up the mill.
Great. And I know the PEA will give more specifics, but do you have a sense already of where you're going to be sitting in terms of operating costs relative to your peers?
Yeah, operating costs should be low. We should be Q1 or Q2. There is a large gold byproduct credit, which potentially will come into play at one point over the life of mine. And when that's occurring,
Oh, you've cut out again there, Ernest.
Ironically, I do think there is something happening with some of the internet channels within Ontario today, but you know what? We're going to make this happen. And Ernest, I see that you're back. So you know what? Continue.
Yes. Yeah, no, we think we'll be Q2 and then come to a Q1 producer when we have more of the gold byproduct credits coming into play.
Excellent. Ernest, we'll have to leave it there. Fantastic seeing some of those grades. To think that in Quebec there's still deposits with grades of copper and the order of magnitude that you guys are finding there. It's excellent. It's a story we will watch closely, and we wish you all the best for the remainder of the year and as you drive this into production next year.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and good luck with the rest of the conference. And it was an honor to lead it off.
Well, you've gotten us off to a very, very great start. There has been a question here from the audience, but we're not unfortunately going to have time for that, but we will. William has a question here, but we will get that over to Ernest, and Ernest will be able to address your question. Okay,
Great.
William.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
Ernest. Cheers.
Cheers.